too long, you're going too long, we got station breaks. I'm approaching my limit here, but let me just say this. I have a tendency to go on, so forgive me. Why did I come to the United States? As the introduction said, I was originally born in Canada. Canada's a nice country, wonderful skiing, good beer if you like beer. People are very friendly, very polite. I left Canada because I understood something as a young man. That here, on this soil, on this land, on this civilization, was the greatest experiment in liberty that human society and history has ever seen. And let me just share one story with you before I go. It's the story that I tell often, and I say it because it shames the liberal press. They have no answer for this. Throughout all of the debates over Obamacare, all of the debates over socialized medicine, I was the one who came out and said, what is different about me from other conservative talk show hosts, what I have been in some ways blessed to know, in some ways cursed to know, is the reality of socialized healthcare. I saw it in Canada. I saw it up front with my own eyes. And if I can be, as I'm wearing my crucifix, confessional with all of you, if I can be in the confessional now, and be perfectly frank with all of you, the number one reason why I left Canada was because of its socialized healthcare system. And why? Why did I leave Canada? Why? Because I can't get the image of my grandmother out of my mind. My grandmother, like my grandfather, was born in the former Yugoslavia, in Croatia, behind the Iron Curtain. While we, at the end of World War II, were celebrating one of the greatest victories in human history over Nazi Germany, the peoples of Eastern Europe were living another horror. Like locusts in a red plague, the Soviet Red Army came and invaded Eastern Europe. And country after country fell under their occupation. And one of them had to be the country that my grandparents were in. For a year and a half, my grandfather, God bless his soul, spent in a Nazi concentration camp. By the grace of God, he survived the horrors of the Holocaust. But then came the communists. He was out for 3 days, literally 3 days out of a concentration camp. And they came back and they said, you, sir, are a devout Catholic who owns a little farm. That is a crime against the state. And they took my grandfather and my grandmother, and they put him in a communist concentration camp for 3 years. Every one of their family members were murdered or starved to death. Every one of them, except for the 2 of them. In fact, my father, to this day, he will openly cry at night when he's had a few glasses of wine. He still remembers, as a young baby, my grandmother, his mother, taking him by the hands and putting him over the barbed wire as the communists were rounding people up into the makeshift camp. And luckily, an old woman took care of him and saved him for 3 years. When my grandparents survived and they came out of that camp, they didn't walk, they ran out of communist Eastern Europe. They wanted to come to America. My grandfather loved America. But at the time, they weren't taking immigrants. He didn't come in here illegally. He said, okay, where else can I go? Canada? It's close. It's right beside America. Let's go. For 3 decades, my grandmother worked in factories. She worked with her hands. She literally broke her back. She never took a penny from the welfare state. She paid taxes through the nose for that socialized healthcare system. And then we got that fateful phone call. Grandma suffered a massive heart attack. We had to take her to the hospital. My father and I rushed to get her. We took her to the hospital. I remember my dad's heart was beating, tears coming down his cheeks. I was nervous, hands shaking. We brought her into the hospital. When we brought her into the hospital, I was the one that ran up to a nurse and said, ma'am, my grandmother is dying. She has a heart attack. Can you please get a doctor here to help her out? You know what the nurse said? I will never forget this until the day I die. I'm sorry, sir. We don't have any doctors or nurses. We have a shortage. There are too many patients and not enough doctors. She will have to wait. And there she lay on a gurney for 3 days and 3 nights in the hallway. They couldn't even give her the dignity of a room. And she died. She could have been saved, but she wasn't. Now I ask all of you, is it racism to say you shouldn't kill old people? Is it racism to say that socialized medicine is the most destructive thing that can befall a people? I ask you, is this a just way for an old woman to die? This is why we stand here today. Because we know something that the liberal ruling elite can never understand. That America has the greatest system of healthcare in the world. Period. Full stop. And Obamacare is a dagger aimed at the greatest system of healthcare the world has ever seen. And so, my friends, let me just sum up by saying this. What you see here in front of you is a new army. They don't know this in Washington yet, but they'll know it soon. You are now seeing a rising conservative army of patriots, of people who are saying, we want our freedoms back, we want our liberties back, we want our government back, we want our country back. And come November, we will now deliver a message that will not only be heard around the world, but it will shake the liberal regime in Washington to its very foundations. And I know there's a couple of Obama staffers out there. They listen to my show every day. I drive them bananas. Literally, I drive them bananas. So let me say this to you and to them. Go back and tell your comrade-in-chief we are coming for him in November. Mr. Obama, I confidently say this, that I speak for everybody in the audience right now when I say this. You, sir, are the bankrupt president of a bankrupt regime. And come November, we will send you and all of your Democratic cronies packing right back to Chicago. May God bless you, and may God bless America.
Instituting something like the old CCC camps. And